Week 8 of the 2024-25 NBA season is over, which means it's time to run it back. This is Run It Back, NBA Week in Review. I'm Jose Salviati, editor at thepeachbasket.net. This is the show where we recap the week that was in the NBA and then highlight the marquee matchup for the week to come. Now, Week 8 in the NBA is an interesting week because by this point, we know what teams are, right? They've had a time to gel. They've had opportunity to see what they're like on the road, at home. Injuries aside, we know where teams land. So it is an important time to really evaluate the team before they change again after the trade deadline. So when we look at the objective top 10 rankings, which is what we're about to do here in a minute, I think you're going to start to see the cream of the NBA crop for this week. So let's start there like we always do with the only objective overall top 10 NBA power rankings anywhere. You can read more about how we get to these rankings and see the entire list at thepeachbasket.net. Let's take a look at the top 10 at the conclusion of week number 8. Now, moving out of the top 10 this week are the Los Angeles Clippers and the New York Knicks. Let's see which teams cracked the top 10 this week. Welcome back to the Phoenix Suns. They had a 1-1 week in week 8, which was enough to move them back up to the top 10 at the number 10 spot. Welcome back also to the Denver Nuggets. After a week out of the top 10 last week, they enjoyed a 2-0 week this week, which was enough to move them up 4 spots to number 9. The Golden State Warriors had a 1-1 week to stay at number 8, but the big news out of San Francisco this week is the addition of Dennis Schroeder. We're going to talk a little bit more about that trade when we talk about what to look for in the coming week. Staying at number 7 after week number 8 are the Dallas Mavericks. They dropped the only game they played for an 0-1 week, but it didn't impact them in our standings. For the second week in a row, the Orlando Magic claimed the number 6 spot, and they were 1-1 in week number 8. Now, generally, there hasn't been a lot of movement, or there isn't a lot of movement in the middle of the top 10 this week. The Memphis Grizzlies were number 5 last week, and they are again after a 2-0 week. Same goes for the Houston Rockets. A 2-1 week was enough to keep them at number 4 for the third week in a row. Despite a perfect 1-0 week, the Boston Celtics dropped 1 spot to number 3. Now, a perfect week is nice, but you need to accumulate more points to keep your spot in the top of the standings. When you get up to the top 3, every point matters. Every win matters. The Oklahoma City Thunder played 2 games in week number 8 and won them all. That was enough to see them leapfrog the Celtics and move up 1 spot to claim number 2. And the number 1 spot in the only objective NBA power rankings anywhere goes once again for the 5th week in a row and 6th time in 8 weeks to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They were 1-1 in week number 8 to maintain the top spot. Still kings of the hill, but everyone else is gaining. That's it. That's the objective top 10 list for week number 8. If you want to see where all 30 teams land this week, please visit thepeachbasket.net. And like I said at the start of the show, these are probably the top 10 for the balance of the season. They will have some folks coming in and out for sure, but I think it's a pretty safe bet that the NBA champion this season is going to be in that list we just mentioned. Now let's shift our focus to the players. These are the best to do it by average in week number 8 of the 2024-25 NBA season. These are the best by average in shooting, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals, points, and game score. In short, the best to do it in the week that was. The score in week number 8 plays his basketball in Oklahoma City. Shea Gilgis-Alexander played 2 games and averaged 35.5 points per game to lead everyone in the association and his team to the NBA Cup Finals. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Boston Celtics teammates Peyton Pritchard and Derek White were both the best from distance, averaging 7 3-point shots made, while Giannis was the overall field goal leader by averaging 13 over his 3 games played. DeAndre Ayton pulled down an impressive 19 rebounds in his 1 game in week number 8, and that was enough to lead the NBA in rebounds for week number 8. Now, Ayton, along with Goga Bitadze of the Orlando Magic and Yves Missi of the Pelicans, averaged 7 offensive rebounds to lead everyone. And I'm not ashamed to admit I had heard of Goga, never heard of Yves Missi. But congratulations to both of them for leading everybody in the offensive rebound category. Karl Anthony Towns was the leading defensive rebounder, averaging 14 over his 2 games played. Trae Young continues to dominate in assists. He was once again the top assist man. This week, he averaged 10.3 to lead everyone again. Anthony Davis has been playing spectacular defense for the Lakers, and they need it. In week number 8, he led everyone in blocks, averaging 4 over his 2 games played. We stay in Los Angeles for the top thief. Now, this is an underrated player who's having a solid season for the Clippers. That's Chris Dunn. He led the association in steals in week number 8, averaging 4.5 over his 2 games played. Finally, the top game score, which takes into account every statistical category in an NBA game, goes to Shea Gilgis-Alexander. His overall game was in full display this week with a game score of 32.8. Now, as we look ahead to week number 9, the marquee matchup has to be the NBA Cup Finals between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, the in-season tournament, the IST or the Emirates NBA Cup, was forced on us NBA fans. I don't know that a lot of us wanted it, but Commissioner Silver thought it was a good thing, so here we are. Some love it, others are learning to appreciate it. I fall in the latter category. Now, the group play games, to me, they're lackluster. There's no punch there. But when you get to the semis, it's been fun to watch. Let's hope the final game is good, too. So who do you think lifts the trophy? The really good and young Oklahoma City Thunder or the more seasoned former champion Milwaukee Bucks? I just want a good game, but if I had to pick, I would pick the Thunder. Let's see how it plays out. Finally, we're going to end with a look ahead by asking the Quicket AI chatbot what it sees as a key question or concern as we move into week number 9. Quicket called out 2 big news items. First up, the poor Philadelphia 76ers. Last week, we asked if the Pelicans were cursed. They may or may not be, but the Sixers seem to be. What a rough season this has been for Philadelphia. Now, the one bright spot this season that has seen them without Joel Embiid and without Paul George for significant stretches of time has been the play of rookie Jared McCain. The 16th overall pick in the 2024 draft was averaging 15.3 points per game and was a front runner for Rookie of the Year. Now, I have to say was because he's now out indefinitely with a lateral meniscus tear in his left knee. It's just a tough break. And this might be a lost season for Philadelphia. Definitely a key as we look ahead to week 9. The other big news as we look ahead was the trade that saw the Golden State Warriors add Dennis Schroeder. Now, Schroeder joins the Dubs, averaging 18.4 points per game and 6.6 assists per game. He was having a spectacular season, really, for the Nets, and now he joins a really solid Golden State Warriors experienced team. No doubt a solid pickup by them as they hope to make one final push at a finals appearance. But it makes me wonder if the Warriors are done yet. There are rumors flying around that they're interested in adding another piece. Say a 4-time champion who's played with Schroeder in the past. Something like that, which is rumored, but there's a ton of rumors around this time. Would break the internet. Of course, I'm talking about LeBron James to the Dubs. That would be wild. Let's see if it plays out. I think chances are slim and none, but anything is possible, which is why we're fans of the game. That's it. Week number 8 of the 2024-25 NBA season is in the books. Join us again next week after week number 9 when we once again run it back.